So Stephen Hawkins once said that intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. That's at the heart of this new moon in Virgo. We start the new moon at 0 degrees Virgo, and it's going to bring us no comfort in certainty. Instead, what it's actually asking us to do is become comfortable with the trial and error process that happens when we grow. It's asking us to really become connected to the real time of what's taking place in our lives and discerning what really matters so we can take advantage of the things that are changing in a way that's positive for us. So some of us might actually feel this new moon in Virgo as a 2-step forward, 1-step back process. Some of us might even feel the pressure to try to provide answers to some of the challenges very quickly we're experiencing. Others might actually just realize that it's time to think outside the box in order to move through. But the key here that I really want us to pay attention to is that beneath all of this tension is an invitation for us to grow and adapt and to step into a new empowered version of yourself that aligns with what feels inspiring and real. So what I'm going to do in this video is break down the astrology and show you why I've come to these conclusions, and also remind you of the live stream that's happening tomorrow. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart itself. This is the new moon in Virgo that's sitting at 0 degrees. And you can see on the chart over there, we've got the green indicator where the new moon actually is. We've got the blue dot that's sitting right by Uranus. We've got the red dot that's sitting next to the Neptune Saturn conjunction. And then we have the black dot that will be now moved to Pluto. That's in Aquarius. These are the profound aspects that I want to touch on today and why I say what I said in the beginning of this video. So let's firstly go ahead to the first aspect that I think is important for us to pay attention to. And that is the square that's happening between the new moon in Virgo and Uranus in Gemini, okay, the opening square. So this is the tension, right? This is the tension between innovation and order. Virgo, it wants the structure and the precision and what the routines are. And the Uranus energy is, here's where I want to push disruption. Here's where I want you to think outside the box and have some fresh thinking. That's why part of this new moon is an invitation to challenge where our routines and our orders are by seeing how disruption is actually bringing us growth. So in some of, like in our lives, there's certain levels of disruption and disorientation. We want to actually see that as Uranus often like allowing us to say, hey, there's a new way that we need to think about stuff. Okay. Now, of course, this is a first quarter square that's taking place between Moon Uranus. So this is going to very much feel like a 2-step forward, 1-step back energy. And it needs to be in the way that we think and the way that we look at things. In other words, there is going to be like some sensitivity or some uncertainty around, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? And then like, yes, I should do this. And then you move forward with it. And then there's like an issue or an error. And you might not know how to solve the problem or how to figure out what the next step is. That's a natural component that happens with Uranus or any new phase energy. So with this energy here, it's very much about like communication. It's the necessity for creative problem solving, right? So my like words of wisdom to you is that talk through the challenges with other people. Human beings need our brains to be stimulated in order for us to like think in innovative ways. So yeah, externalize some of your ideas, externalize some of the challenges that you have, and allow for feedback to give you different ways of thinking about the problem. So the square itself, again, coming in here, is very much the dynamic tension of growth that we're also experiencing. So the quote of the measure of intelligence, Gemini, and the ability to adapt to change, that's this process here. That's the square that's taking place. And it's pushing us to figure things out. So expect the unexpected, expect moments of solutions arriving out of nowhere. This is a natural thing. Like just breathe into the moment, breathe into the space, and try to like not let your mind overtake and like race forward with a lot of doubt and uncertainty, even though that's probably what will happen with this aspect, okay? So this aspect is teaching us, right, that innovation comes from friction, which is the challenge of the old, and methods of new possibility. And we do this by communicating, digesting, dialoguing, etc. Okay. So the next aspect that I want to take a look at over here is going to be the, let's actually do this over here. There first is the Venus in Cancer, and it's squaring Chiron in opposition to Pluto. Okay. So when we're stepping into something new, when we're being pushed to go beyond our comfort zones, right? For many of you, you know that there's something inspiring, something new that you want to do with your time on Earth, with your life, etc. Maybe there's a new pattern that you're trying to work through and want to move beyond or step into a new version of yourself that feels more authentic. This energy is saying we need to be aware of what might be holding us back. So emotional vulnerability is a big part of this new moon. And it's because we need to be really honest with the parts of ourselves that might feel afraid of the uncomfortable, right? That might feel uncertain or doubtful of whether we can trust ourselves. So the Venus in Cancer is that underlying sense of, oof, can I do this, right? Or that strong sensitivity of emotional uncertainty. And the square that takes place to Chiron is the ruins of agency. And the Pluto is the pressure to transform, right? If you want to have this thing that's empowering to you, you need to be able to know where your limitations are and what adaptations you need to make, what choices you should make that allows you to cross that threshold of uncertainty, of emotional vulnerability, of the lack of belief within yourself. And again, it's often just a pattern of thinking or a truth or a belief system that we might hold within our bodies that stops us from really overcoming the level of uncertainty or fear that we might have. So it's a powerful aspect, and it's one that I feel brings incredible potency. But in order to unlock it, we need to step into a more self-reflected state and self-inquiry, right? You need to be able to know yourself in a way of where your boundaries are and what your challenges are and your fears, etc. And then you need to kind of say, what can I do to push that and to grow beyond that? So security needs surface alongside the fear of not being good enough, right? That's an absolute natural thing to feel as human beings. If we step into something new or we decide to cross the threshold, we often feel that uncertainty, like, can I do this? And the wound that Chiron and Aries is trying to heal for us as a collective is the ability to reclaim that sense of agency. Like, I can do this. This is possible. I want to do this. I believe in myself. I can trust myself. And even sometimes when we have that level of uncertainty, it's not so much about giving into the pattern of disempowerment. It's actually asking yourself, even though I might not have the entire thing mapped out, at least I have the frame of mind that says I'm willing to give it a shot. That's the Chiron and Aries when it's empowered. That's when you're taking up space and you're feeling that empowerment and you're like, yeah, I'm going to make a change, or I'm going to pursue the thing that I feel inspired by. That's what this energy is about. So again, the Pluto brings in here, and it's like this deep testing and reorientation. Okay. So again, Venus in Cancer seeks that emotional safety and nurturing, which is amazing, but it's also challenging us to really confront what we fear and allowing ourselves to, notice that we have a positive parent in us that can say, I believe in you. I have faith in you. I can trust you. Okay. So again, the Pluto in opposition, just authentic transformation, right? And this configuration is inviting us to really heal those old wounds that we carry around, things like love and money and self-worth and possibility, right? The possibility and the potential of what could I be, or what is life like if I allowed myself to live a different way that I've always dreamed of or is always idealized, right? This is where the potential lies with this energy. But again, it's crossing that threshold, right? Can you do it? Okay. So let's move to the next aspect that I think is also important. So it's the Yod configuration. So if I go back to the chart, the Yod configuration is here with Pluto at 1 degree Aquarius, okay? And Neptune is sitting at 1 degree conjunct Saturn there in Aries, okay? So these two planets, they're actually what is called a sextile. So these aspects are speaking to each other and they're saying, hey, I've got your back. I'm supporting you here, okay? And then the finger of God itself is actually happening all the way to the new moon in Virgo. There's that blue line. Can you see there on the chart? There's two blue lines, and it's forming like a finger of God configuration. So what is it about and how can we take advantage of it? Okay. So Pluto in Aquarius is saying to us, hey, there's an opportunity for us to challenge deep fears that hold us back and in comfort. Okay. And the Neptune in Aries, along with Saturn, says we're all feeling a desire to want to change something within our lives. We're all feeling a sense that there's something possible or something new. We can also feel that as this kind of lack of meaning or lack of purpose or lack of inspiration in our lives, right? And I think because the planets are in retrograde at the moment, there's a tendency to feel more like that than actually that inspiration. But it goes both ways. It depends on, where you are in your life. But that crisis of adjustment is where these two planets, the fear to cross my definitions, Pluto and Aquarius, and the desire to do something more meaningful with my life, Neptune, Saturn, they're talking to each other. And we feel that. But what we don't feel is the uncertainty that comes with the environment that we need to step into in order for that change to exist. Does that make sense? Right? Whenever we're in a new environment and we feel foreign in that environment, it's like we have to learn completely new things. And we don't know how to exist in that new context. So of course it's going to be a crisis for us, right? We need to be paying attention to all new things in our field of vision and our awareness. So that's what this configuration is about. It's a crisis and adjustment. Don't know how to do something. Okay, this is a crisis. Think in adaptation ways, think in creatively new ways, be comfortable with vulnerability, and allow yourself to actually be initiated into the change by adaptation. So you can see here, right? Pluto, Neptune, Saturn in retrograde. It brings us collective forces, right? These are outer planets. So we're all going through it and we are being initiated into change. And so this new moon energy, as I said, is an integration and it's happening here in our lives. It's not over there. It's not in the future. It's not like, oh, I wish I want. It's like, here I am. And if I make empowering decisions, which I've talked about, then I will be able to grow through this process into that version of myself. And it's going to be messy. It's not going to be easy, but I'm staying with the process, right? That's the key. So it's all about flexibility of an acceptance of imperfection. And this finger of God or Yod configuration, it's a conscious choice to remember your agency, to remember your empowerment, and to allow yourself to go through the process, no matter how uncertain it might feel, okay? And it's pushing us to that evolutionary destiny, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead on the screen and share with you the new moon, where it lands in each of the houses and descriptions, okay? So I'm going to put that on the screen right now. And then what you need to do is just pause the video and take a screenshot and then read what that might mean for you. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so on the screen at the moment, you'll see that there are the 12 houses, and I've put there little keywords that is associated with each of the houses. You can see they're like identity, instinct, survival, and there it says, how is your sense of self-being reshaped through small adjustments? Okay, so all you need to do is just take a screenshot of this image so that you can have it, and then just zoom it in and read through that, because that's where this new moon is, what this new moon is doing for you. So what you need to do is locate where the 0 degree mark is of this new moon in your astrology chart, and then correlate it to the house. Doesn't matter what house system you're using, of course, just as long as it connects to your story. So I want to make a quick announcement. there's two announcements that I want to make on this video today. The first one is going to be on the Evolutionary Astrology Immersion. This is the 10-month program that I've been talking about for the last couple of months. And just want to go through some information with you on what this actual immersion is about. So the Evolutionary Astrology Immersion is my passion project, okay? I've been teaching astrology since 2013. I've run countless schools and countless classes, and I've arrived at a point where I've looked at all of the things that are good when it comes to astrology. And I've also looked at all of the things that I would like to improve or I'd like to change so that our learning ability, as well as our ability to use astrology, is actually like amplified tenfold. So this is my attempt to contribute. Oops, I've got my little screen over here. Let me just remove it for a second. This is my attempt essentially to invigorate and contribute to the astrological community in a way that learns from an immersive perspective, right? We emotionally connect to our stories and our charts. So what the Evolutionary Astrology Immersion is essentially a 10-month course where basically all of us go through the entire evolutionary astrology curriculum. So if you've ever wanted to discover, learn, understand evolutionary astrology, that's what this is. And it's taught in a way that is connecting to your own intuition so that you're not duplicating or mimicking the information and trying to remember it. You're actually connecting to it through direct experience. So you're going to go through your entire astrology chart and learn how to look at it from an evolutionary astrology perspective. So it's like 10 months of consistent chart readings, as opposed to 1 hour with an astrologer. You're spending 10 months with me where you're going to go through and learn not only evolutionary astrology, but apply it to your own life. And that's what I feel is so empowering. And that's why it's like, this is not a course, it's a rite of passage in being able to return to our intuitive knowing and understanding and be able to connect to your lived experiences. So it's a completely different way of learning. I've been deeply influenced by pedagogic learning styles. So it's not just, as I said, writing stuff. We're going to be engaging in all of these modules that I've got on the screen here. Okay, so there's going to be a link down below in the description as well as the comment section. Go check it out. There's a full entire page where I go through everything that's in the actual program itself. So if you want to come along and learn with me and actually learn your charts, learn astrology, be able to know the wisdom of each of the archetypes in a way that require you to have to remember stuff, then this is a perfect fit for you. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I really want to talk about here is the kind of like the purpose of this new moon. Like, what's the thing that we need to do to embody what is possible in your life right now? Each and every one of you that's watching this video, I know you have a sense of something that wants to change, something that you want to grow into, something that you want to move into within your life. And so this new moon is essentially allowing you to heal perfectionism, right? We don't do things in our lives because we're afraid of getting it wrong. We're afraid of judgment. We're afraid of parental persecution. And then we get stuck in this bubble of being disabled in our agency and never pursuing the thing that we want to pursue because, those emotional fears that we have. But this is the time where we can actually grow through it. And that's my inspiration to you here. So the new moon in Virgo doesn't promise certainty, meaning there is going to be a lot of doubt because you're in a new environment. It invites you into a living process of growth, one that's imperfect, nonlinear, and deeply human. The capacity to return to your humanness and allow for iteration and innovation and change and adaptation and to grow through the challenge, right? Rather than forgetting about your entire existence, living a routine life that is comforting, but you never actually challenge yourself. The square to Uranus and Venus and Pluto and the Yod all of these patterns, they're about growth happens in the messy middle, right? We don't know where this is going. We don't know what our next steps are. We just know that we need to pursue something and take up space in a new way and just cross that threshold. That's all that's being asked. Okay? Intelligence of adaptation is allowing yourself to move through the crisis and the trial and error and be okay with it. Okay? This is not about like waiting until you feel ready, is what I'm saying here. This is about stepping forward and trusting yourself and allowing the clarity of the next moments to arrive, okay? So that you can actually live the way that you want, more authentically, more real, and to chase the things that you actually desire in your life, rather than stay behind, stuck in the limitation of our own fears. Okay, that's my message to you with this new moon in Virgo. And tell me, like, let me know in the comment section, like, where is that landing for you? What are the changes that are taking place? Where are your growth points? What are the things that you fear? Right? That would be something great to share. And other people might actually spontaneously write to you in the comment section that gives you that inspiration. You never know. So engage. I would love to hear those stories. Okay. Before I close up today, I want to make my last little announcement. And this is the live stream that's going to be happening tomorrow. That is the 24th of August. So the 24th of August, that's Sunday. This is going to be the Raising Vibrations live stream. And it's going to be at 4 p.m. Sweden time. So you just go check our YouTube page. You'll see we've already created and scheduled it. So you can just go check out our page. We are going to be talking about Pluto in your chart. So I thought it would be a great way for us to come into understanding how to activate that Pluto in our chart. And it beautifully ties into the Uranus, not Uranus, but 0 degree Virgo energy. So that's tomorrow. That's the live stream. Bring your questions. We're going to go through Pluto placements and in your natal charts. I'm going to help you understand it in a deeper way. So I'm excited for that as well. Awakening death by living life is what Pluto is all about. It's about becoming alive. It's about becoming real. And it's about allowing yourself to experience the fullness of what it means to be human and to break away from the chains that have captured our psyche and our emotions because we've needed to have everything completely perfect and ideal before we can actually do anything. And it's like, no, we're done with that. Okay. All right, peeps. Thanks very much for sitting with me today. I really appreciate it. Don't forget the immersion. Check out the link over there. Go learn more. Come join me and also join me for the live stream tomorrow.